All right, you guys, as promised, I just wanted to give you one last advantage to doing well on your test tomorrow. So I'm going to walk you through how to solve systems of equations in each of the three ways. We're just going to go through one example. So if the first system that I give you, y equals negative x plus 4 and y equals 2x plus 1, if they are both in y equals mx plus b form, that means that you're going to want to solve this system through graphing. Okay, so it's probably just easiest to graph these two lines and see where they intersect. So I'm going to draw my coordinate plane over here. Okay, and then I'm going to graph the first line in pink. So hopefully by now, you know how to graph lines in y equals mx plus b form. You always start with your y-intercept, which in this case is going to be 0, 4. And since it's on the since it's a y-intercept, it has to be on the y-axis. Okay, and then your slope for this one is -1 or -1 over 1. So if you want to write it out this way, that's fine. So that means you're going to go down 1 into the right one. The negative always means you're going down. You always go to the right at first for your denominator. So down 1 to the right one. And I don't really know where they're going to cross yet. So I'm just going to kind of keep on going as long as I can. And then if you wanted to, you can also go up 1 into the left one once you went all the way the other way. Then you're just going to draw this line with whatever straight edge you got lying around. Okay. And then I'm going to move on to my next line. So for this one, I'll graph it in green. So for this one, you want to start at 0, 1. That's your y-intercept for this one. So I'm going to start right here. And my slope for this one is going to be 2, or if you want to write it, 2 over 1. That means I'm going to go up 2, since my slope is positive, and always to the right 1. So that is where my points are going to intersect. If I really wanted to keep on going, I can go down 2 and to the left 1. And it's like, since this is a positive slope, my green line should be increasing from left to right. Since my pink line is a negative slope, it should be decreasing from left to right. So that's just always another way to see if you are actually doing the problem properly. But then again, remember that this problem is not done until you tell me what ordered pair is actually your solution. So when you are graphing, your ordered pair is always going to be where the two lines cross. So they are crossing at 1, 3. So my solution to this one is 1, 3. That is how I write my answer. Okay, my next system. So again, if you want to pause it from there, write everything down, feel free to do so you can use those notes on your test. My next system is going to look like this. So I have x equals -3y plus 5, and then -2x plus 5y equals 23. Okay, for this one is a good candidate for substitution. Whenever you have a variable that's by itself that's already solved out for, that means it's a good candidate for substitution. Okay, so what I want to do, since I know that x equals -3y plus 5, that means I want to plug it in for that x. So sometimes what I do when I go and solve these problems, I'll write out everything exactly the same way as it was. So I have -2, but now I know I'm plugging in something for x, but then I have the 5y and I have the 23 over here. Everything else is staying the same. But now I know that I'm plugging in -3y plus 5 in for that x. Then, more often than not, your next step is going to be distribution, which I definitely do have to do here. So I'm going to distribute that -2. That is going to change my signs a little bit. So -2 times -3y, that's going to be positive 6y. -2 times positive 5 is -10. And then plus 5y equals 23. And then I just have to combine like terms. So now I have 11y minus 10 equals 23. And then I have to add my 10 over. 11y equals 33 and divide by 11. Okay, so now my y equals 3. But again, I need an ordered pair just like we had up here. Oops, sorry, I have to move my camera down. So once I figure out that my y is 3, that means I'm just going to go back in and plug it in for x up here. So now I'm just going to show my work down here. I have x equals negative 3 times y, which I just solved to be positive 3, and then plus 5. So x equals negative 9 plus 5, which means x equals negative 4. And it is not over. Oh my goodness. Bring down the camera. I apologize, you guys. It's been a long day. It is not over until it is over and I write my ordered pair. And make sure when you are writing your ordered pair, it's always in XY form. Just because I solve for the Y first doesn't mean it goes first. You're always putting in an XY form. So my answer for this one is negative 4, positive 3. And if you are ever in doubt, if you are taking this test tomorrow and you're like, I don't know if that's actually the right answer, go back and plug it into over here. So does negative 4 equal negative 3 times positive 3 plus 5? So we already kind of did that. That's true. If I go down here, negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. 5 times 3 is 15. 8 plus 15 is 23. So that's always a way that you can double check and make sure that you did this problem correctly. Okay, the last problem that we are going to do is 8x minus y equals negative 5. Negative 6x plus 2y equals 15. So whenever you have something like this, where they're not in y equals mx plus b form, there's nothing that's solved out for, and there's really no variable that's like by itself. Like this one you can kind of make by itself, but then you still have that negative to take care of. This one would be a good candidate for elimination. So elimination, you have options. So the first thing I look for when I'm trying to figure out what I want to cancel is which ones have opposite signs. So the x's already have opposite signs and the y's have opposite signs. So those are both good candidates because I want to have opposite signs but the same numbers. But I think the y's for this case would be a little bit easier to cancel out because all I would have to do is multiply this y by 2, and then I have negative 2 and positive 2, and I can cancel them out. If I really wanted to cancel out the x's, I can multiply the top by 6 and the bottom by 8. Like when in doubt, just multiply them by the opposite of each other. Really, if I wanted to, I can make them both into 24 and I can multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by 4. So if you really wanted to do that, you can. But I always just like taking the easier way out. So I'm just going to multiply this guy by 2. Don't forget when you multiply this by 2, we're multiplying everything by 2. So I'm going to write this one just below it. So 2 times 8 is 16x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2y. And 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. So now you are only paying attention to these ones since I manipulated that first one. And then make sure you're always adding down. So negative 6 plus 16 is positive 10x. These are the ones that cancel out. 2 minus 2 is 0. And then 5 plus negative 10 or 5 minus 10 equals just 5. So when I go to solve this, I divide by 10. And remember, I see this mistake a lot. This is not 2. This is not 10 divided by 5. This is 5 divided by 10. If your lower number's on top and your bigger number's on bottom, that means you're still going to be stuck with a fraction. This guy is actually 1/2. You can simplify both of them by 5. So again, I'm not done with this problem until I get an ordered pair. So I solve for my x. I still need my y. So I'm just going to plug this back into one of my y's up in the top. So I'm going to plug it into the bottom one because of, or actually, never mind, I'm plugging it in for x. I usually check if I'm going to plug a 1/2 in for x, I want to plug it into a number that's even, so I can just cut it in half. Both of these are even, so it doesn't really matter which one I plug it into. So I'll just plug it into the top one. 8 times 1/2 minus y equals -5. So again, whenever I'm multiplying by 1/2, just cutting it in half. 8 cut in half is just 4. 4 minus y equals -5. And then make sure this is a +4 and a -y. Some of you guys get your signs mixed up. So when I'm moving this 4 over here, make sure you're subtracting the 4. And then once these guys cancel out, make sure you still remember you have a -y over here. -5 minus 4 is -9. And then I just have to divide by -1 to get a +y. No, let's move this down before I forget again. So -9 divided by -1 is just +9. And then it's an over until you write it as an ordered pair. So my actual answer for this one, my x is 1/2, my y is 9. And that is my answer. Okay, so I hope this helped a little bit. I would get this written in your notes, so when you're taking the test, you can refer back to it. You can rewatch it as many times as you want, but please, please, please do the best that you possibly can. I'm rooting for you guys. All right, I'll see you. Have a great weekend.